How are you?
Uh,
Content number 4 is about understanding the nature and determinants of the national income. The first one is employ the model of circular flow to explain national income. Basically, in this, I will be explaining the circular flow model. Do you remember the factors of production and economics, land, labor, capital? Then we have household sector and the government sector. This is all going to revolve around this. An economic model that illustrates how money moves from producers to consumers and back again in an endless loop. That is how the business or any work is going on in the economy. The demand is produced in the economy. That is how the uh, consumers give the money to the producers. And because then supply creates, the producers make the products. So the producer to consumer connection goes on and on, vice versa. Again, it's just a simple diagram. It's a circular flow of income in which we have the main components households, government, and other countries. So, specifically, firms they have the factor of inputs, which consist of land, labor, and capital, the FOBs, and outputs are always considered as goods and services, and even the value added production as well. Now, government is doing what? They are spending on the firms, on the households. Firms are using their investment and the taxes which they are gaining from the consumers. Again, household sector, what they do. We as a household sector, we always try to spend, we always try to save the amount. But what we give the money in terms of taxes to the government. And those taxes are then again spent by the government as a government spending. And by other countries, I mean household imports, products, and exports. It's just a general diagram I'll discuss in detail later on. What is the circular flow of model? Again, the flows of money between the sectors, that is household sectors, government sector, country to country, are also tracked to measure a country's national income or GDP. Now, GDP basically stands for the gross domestic product, which is calculated annually. So the model is also known as the circular flow of income. If the examiner asks about the circular flow of model or circular flow of income, these both are same. The idea of circular flow was first introduced by economist Richard Cantoton in the 18th century, and then progressively developed by Quincy, Marx, Keynes, and many other economists. It is one of the most basic concepts in macroeconomics. The whole macroeconomics, or you can say the pure economics, is based on employment, GDP, national income, capital accounts, current accounts, balance of payment. How an economy runs can be simplified as two cycles flowing in opposite directions. One is goods and services flowing from business to individuals, that is, the supply to the demand. We produce the products because the demand has been created in the market. And individuals provide resources for production, labor force back to the business. That is, when we do the primary production, when we need raw materials, labors are required. So individuals give the outcome to the producers. The circular flow model demonstrates how money moves from producers to households and back again in an endless loop. Again, this is the definition. In an economy, money moves from producers to workers as wages and then back from workers to producers as workers spend money on products and services. In the service sector, basically, this happens. When we give wages to the workers, what happens? They spend on the products and services which are available in the market. And in terms, they are benefiting from the producers, which are the main source of producing the products and services. Clear?
yes.
Money flows from individuals to businesses as consumer expenditures on goods and services and flows back to individuals and as personal income. First, we discussed in the perspective of labor, and now as a personal, like as a consumer, we spend the money, our hard-earned money on the products. And in terms, the businesses get benefits. This is the basic circular flow of model of an economy. And in the basic two-factor circular flow model, money flows from households to businesses as consumer expenditures in exchange for the goods and services produced by the business, then flows back from the business to households. Basically, there are five sector models in which the first one is the household and businesses. The second one is the business. Third one is the government. Then the foreign sector, the financial sector. Like before we discussed this example, right? The relationship between the household is actually the single sector. But when we combine it with the firms, it becomes two sector model. That is from household to firm, firm to household. When government gets into it, what happens? It is a three sector model. And when other countries comes, it is a four sector model. So like that, this whole circular flow of model is going on. Again, it's a circular flow of income or the model. We have two sector model. First one is the household, and then the other one is firms. Now the main market is the factor market. Households are giving the investment into the factor market. Investment is what? Money in terms of spending the spending on the product. It goes to the firm. Now, what happens to the firm? They give them to the bank in the form of dividends, bond repayments, because they have taken the loans. That is how the whole circle is moving on. From household to firm, firm to government, government to foreign, foreign to financial sector. Again, another diagram in which we have factor for production as a labor. It is very clear. You can see that from household to business, the income is flowing, and from business to household, the personal income in the form of wages is going. But in the perspective of what? Labor. Here, the factor of production is labor. The personal income is in the form of wages, and the expenditures are in the form of goods and services. Clear?
Yes.
And one more thing, you will also be asked to draw the diagrams as well. So while explaining the sector model, you can draw any of these diagrams which you feel like. All are acceptable. First one is two sector model, household sector or the business sector slash. The model described above is this two sector model, which is the basic model containing only two sectors, that is individuals or households and businesses. By individuals, this means the consumers. It is assumed that households spend all their income as consumer expenditures and purchase the goods and services produced by the business. Again, it is a very basic thing. We as a consumer, what we do, we spend all the money on the products. Ultimately, it benefits from the producers. There are no taxes, savings, or investments that are associated with other sectors. At the moment, we're only spending. We are assuming that we're only spending and helping the other sector, which is the business sector. In the two-sector model, circular flow models start with the household sector that engages in the consumption spending. Consumption spending is denoted by the term C, a capital C. Households contribute to an economy by working, giving away time and labor, and by buying products, giving away money. In return, households consume products and utilize government programs. By utilizing government programs, this term means that when the government gives subsidies to the producers so that they in return can give us discounts or a lesser burden on the consumers. Have you heard this term before, the subsidiary?
Yeah, subsidy. It is like going to the business.
This is what actually we are doing this in the sector as well. This is just to benefit the consumers. Circular flow model also includes the business sector that produces the goods. It absorbs a variety of production costs, including labor, materials, and overhead. Obviously, the business is run by all the assets, liabilities, and it includes the labor, raw materials, and the expenses as well. Many companies are able to manufacture products that benefit other parties. By other parties, this means the consumers, the suppliers, the transportation head, the government as well. Now we have three sector model, which is the government sector. The first one was the two sector model, which consists of household and the business sector. This is actually the intruder of government. We add government into it. Money flows from household and businesses to the government in the form of taxes. Again, first, in the two sector model, we were only spending. But in the third sector model or three sector model, household is giving taxes in what form? When we pay the product price, we are paying the GSTs as well, the general sales tax. It benefits the government. And when business pay the tax, they give in heavy amounts, they are like at market price taxes. The government pays back in the form of government expenditures through subsidies, benefit programs, public services. That is how the government has to return that tax, which is in terms of subsidies, maybe a beneficial programs like in Pakistan we have which was introduced in Imran Khan era. It was called Jawan Youth Program. It was specifically to inculcate or facilitate the youth. Government injects money into the circle through government spending. Now, government spending is donated by G, capital G, on programs such as Social Security and National Park Services. That is, the Social Security, like currently we have dolphin police in Pakistan, which roams around in the night, and the park services. Through our tax money, these parks are maintained. It also extracts money from households and businesses by way of taxes. Again, the same thing. Is this clear as well?
Yeah.
Four sector model. Now, this will include in the first diagram, there was other countries. So it was depicting four sectors. The four sector model contains the foreign sector, which is also known as the overseas sector or the external sector. The other words are very important by keeping in mind that whenever you are doing the assignments or the other stuff exams, be clear that these terms can be asked. The overseas sector turns a closed economy into an open economy. Now, what's an open economy? Open economy, in like straightforward word, allows trading with other nations. That is, we can trade. Pakistan can trade with Japan, America, like that. Whereas a closed economy does not allow it. They only what they do. They only trade in themselves. They grow everything on their own. It is connected to the other sectors through two flows of money. That is the foreign trade, that is the import and export. I'm sure you have an idea of exports and imports, right?
Yeah.
And foreign exchange, that is the inflow and outflow of the capital, that is the money. Capital is quite a broader term. In terms of foreign exchange, we also exchange the assets as well. Each flow of money is paired with the flow of factor of production of goods and services. That is, whenever a money is flowing into the sectors from one sector to another, there is a factor of production also flowing. That is the land, labor, capital. This here, can you see the factor for the production is labor?
Yes.
So that's how the line supports this diagram. Okay. Now we have five sector model, which is specifically financial one. It includes banks and other institutions that provides borrowing and lending services to the other sectors. Like when the farmers need banks, microfinancing bank is used. Recently, bankless banking is introduced in Pakistan as well. They're encouraging that we should open only one branch and only one person is going to operate as a CSR, that's a corporate service representative. And they can do anything on the phone, like the transactions of the money, opening the account, managing the account. Savings and investment are assumed in the five sector model. Now, saving and investment. Saving is generated by the capital S and investment is generated by the capital I. This includes banks and other institutes that provide cash flow via lending services. This model also outlines investor activity, that is, cash flow from the entrepreneurs and investors may represent an inflow to the business. That is, when an organization is run by the board of directors, they take the money from the shareholders. In this way, the business is run. While net profits from the company represent an outflow, net profit is the ultimate profit which you get at the end of the annual year. Now it is invested back into the business, and most of the time from that profit, we give bonuses, commission to the workers as well as a remuneration. Clear?
Yeah.
So yeah, these were actually the five models in which household, business, government, financial, and foreign sector was included. Now, a little bit more information about the injections and leakages. Just as money is injected into the economy, that is, it comes into the economy, money is withdrawn or leaked through various means as well. Is the concept of injection and leakage is clear? Like, is in term of word. When something enters into the economy, but that is what injection is, like injecting it. And when it is withdrawn, that is leaked. Taxes, which is denoted by the term T, imposed by the government, reduce the flow of income. Money paid to the foreign companies for the imports also contributes a leakage. Obviously, when we give money back to the importers, the money goes to them. It is leaked. S is by savings by businesses that otherwise would have been put to use or decrease in the circular for economies income. Obviously, when the government is continuously asking taxes, what will happen to the saving proportion? People will tend to save less because they're not having that much money. They have to spend on the daily lives as well. A government calculates its gross national income by tracking all of these injections into the circular flow of income and the withdrawals from it. Now, all these components are included, that is, the exports, imports, taxes, savings, investment, and then we're able to calculate the GDPs and national incomes. The circular flow of income for a nation is said to be balanced when leakage equal injection, that is, the amount of leakages and injection is intersecting with each other. The level of injections is the sum of government spending, exports, and investments. That is, when the money comes into the economy, it is through the spending because we are spending in the economy, through the exports because we are getting back the money because we export stuff and we get the money from the producers. And investments. Investments in what? In different firms or in different stock exchanges. The level of leakage or withdrawal is the sum of taxation, that is, when the taxation is imposed. Imports, we have to make the money back, and savings because they are being saved. They are not being used in the economy or by the economy representatives. So when government spending, exports, and investment is greater than the leakage, that is, taxes, imports, and savings, the level of national income or the GDP will increase. Are you getting the point?
Yeah.
GDP will increase because the injections have been
Injections are
increased.
more.
Yes, correct. And what will be the another term? Like explain it in the what will happen when we have to decrease the GDP? Tell me.
Uh, uh, for that, uh, to like leakages would be like greater than your injections.
Exactly, correct. Perfect. As long as the country's injection is greater than the leakage, a country's economy can theoretically remain sustaining forever. But again, it's theoretically. In real terms, it just worsens the economy. If there are cash flow shortages, that is the leakages, that is there are more leakages into the economy, the country must find additional cash flow to compensate for the shortage. That is what Pakistan is currently doing. We are asking money from the IMF. I just read an article and a video as well few days back that even our hospitals, our national parks, our motorways, they are all mortgaged. The whole, like Pakistan, the country, is on mortgage. That is, in Urdu, we call it girvi. Because we're not paying back the amount at the right time. We're only asking money from the IMF, and what they're doing is everything is on mortgage. I also added an example so that everything gets clear to you. Consider a circular flow of model involving Apple employees and Apple product consumers. Now, we will also include the government to form a three-sector circular flow model, that is household, business, and the government. First, households may spend money and in return, the household get new innovative technology products. That is we are going in an Apple store, buying an Apple like iPhone 14 or an iPad. What we're doing, we're spending, right?
Yeah.
Second, household may be employed by Apple. Maybe we get the vacancy there. Household may contribute labor hours and time to the company, resulting in Apple growing and becoming a more successful company. Now, there were two scenarios. First one, you went as a consumer. The second scenario was you went as a worker there. To help grow Apple company, household receive income from the Apple through part of these funds is given to the government via taxes. Obviously, when you get the income, the tax has been already deducted in these national multinational companies. Households then benefit from government programs, maybe through different supporting programs like Sehat One, health insurance, from the street lights. These are all actually benefiting us. From the business perspective, the company exists to create products. They're creating the products because the demand has been created. From above, they sell products and take money from the households. That was the first perspective. They also take time for the workers to make those products. So the second one is they're also gaining the time from them. I told you, I think, like from like last week, I think that currently we're studying as a workers. In our mindset, we have to earn a good position in the organization. What they're taking from us, our time, our mind, our energy, and they're only paying us. That's it. So a certain portion of the company's profit is given to the government in the form of taxes. Obviously, when we as a consumer or employee give taxes to the government, the organizations or the business, they're also giving taxes to the government. In some cases, Apple may benefit from the government programs or subsidies. So part of these tax dollars may indirectly benefit Apple. That is, um, this is actually a tactic. Let me tell you. Um, these big companies, what they do, whenever the exhibition goes on in any part of the world, they always try to buy that painting or stuff which is very expensive. Now, what happens in the end? When we buy paintings or anything which is historical, which is prestigious, the government cannot tax us. That is how the big companies save themselves from giving taxes and they earn abnormal profits. Clear? Like,
Yes.
like a very, when I knew it, I was shocked that how
Mm.
this could be, but this is how they're doing it. That is why the concept of, you know, what do we call it? A museum exhibition has been very raised up since past 4 3 years. From the government's perspective, both household and business pay taxes, right? The consumers are also paying taxes, the producers are also paying taxes. These dollars are then used to deploy capital projects or public programming. Now, how these motorways, these roads, the Hajj camps are going on. We pay to the Saudis, right? In like so many riyals. What they do, they benefit us in terms of Hajj camps and many other services as well. They give us free food, stuff and stuff. It is because of this money. So back to the example of Apple, both of which may benefit Apple, its employees, or its customer. In this example, we can even add the additional sectors, that is financial and foreign sector, but I only give the example of three sectors. Now, can you like, would you be able to explain in the example, like on your task and assignments?
Yeah.
Now, what is the purpose of national income accounts? We will discuss that. First, what is this national income? A bookkeeping system that a government uses to measure the level of country's economic activity in a given time period. That is what is happening in the economy. It has been calculated under the national income bracket. That is government spending, taxation, investment, spending, export, imports, everything is under this. What is national income accounting? Again, the first one is the example definition. Such a system will include total revenues by domestic corporations, that is the firms, businesses which are working domestically, not internationally, the domestic ones. The revenue gained by them, wages paid, sales, and income tax set up for the companies. Everything is included under this bracket. National income accounting system allows countries to assess the current standard of living or the distribution of income within a population. That is, the national income basically depicts the living standard of the people. If the national income is high, the living standard is going to be increased. But if it is less, the living standard is going to be poor. And the distribution of income. It's a phenomena that we have to distribute income evenly in the economics, but that's not the case. We have some proportion, we have some regression as well. Like at the moment, there was a scheme going on by the government in Pakistan that the elites or the people which can afford will pay more petrol prices than the people who cannot afford, like the one which drives taxis and rickshaws like that. They're not going to pay that much amount. They're going to only pay one third of that amount. So obviously this scheme doesn't like it didn't get successful because obviously it cannot be in a country which is already developing nation. However, the accuracy of analysis relating to national income accounting is only as accurate to the data collected. That is, whatever you have collected the data, it only depicts that. If the data is already fudged, it is not accurate, then the data or the numbers is not going to be correct for the national income as well. National income accounts have two central goals. First one, it's the measurement of economic activity. That is, what economic activity is going on in the economy. And the second one is the economic well-being or progress. Or is your country is progressing towards betterment or regressing? Like in the era of Imran Khan, if you remember, maybe that he was the one who, like in the international conference, was able to make accept Islamophobia. This was never been like done before. And what the government of Shehbaz Sharif is doing, he's doing nothing. He's attending the ceremony of Charles like a puppet.
Yeah.
So that's a wrong thing. That's not a leader. Well, components of national income includes again the consumption, government spending, investments, exports. So the aggregate demand of the national income includes consumption, government by investment, then we have private sector investment, and then we have exports. National income accounting versus economic policy. The quantitative information that is related to the number, numerical information associated with the national income accounting can be used to determine the effect of various economic policies. So, aggregate of the economic activity within a nation, national income accounting provides economists and statisticians with detailed information that can be used to track the health of an economy and to forecast future growth and development. Now, this is the responsibility of the statistician, analyst, economist, that what is going on in the economy in terms of numerical numbers. We present the data in the numerical form, in the statistical form, in the graphical form, so that the people and the government can get benefit and they know what is actually going on in the economy. The data can provide guidance regarding inflation policy, that is what is actually going on. We are facing hyperinflation at the moment, and according to the data and to the graphs, what the people like, what the government is showing to the world, that Pakistan is the cheapest country to live in. That is absolutely fake. We are paying exactly the same prices as the developed nations are paying. So that's not like fair enough. We are developing nation. We have to pay less prices, but we are paying like petrol is, I think, if I'm not wrong, pound has reached 400 to the rupees. That is a lot. Our economy is depreciating in such a way that um, only thing which is like working at the moment is only duas and prayers. Everything is collapsing at the moment. The businesses are going down, the construction business is going down. We're not having enough money, we're not having enough dollars in the economy even.
Yeah.
And that's a like big panicking thing because when we went to the banks, like State Bank of Pakistan, to get the dollars, they were like, we don't have that much dollars. And we were shocked. So it's a very like I wonder like when I will die and our kids will study the economics and the subject, they will definitely give the example of Pakistan because whatever is currently going on in our economy, it is so alarming. And exactly like everything is depictable to the economics. Every theory is 100% equitable.
Exactly.
Yes. Like we are studying like when we were studying the history of economics, I'm like sharing the knowledge of my A levels. We were studying back of 90s, but the children who will be studying of 2050s, they will be discussing us, and that's a very
Yeah.
alarming situation because I don't know what will happen next. I always go to sleep just praying that everything will get better, but that's not the way. There is like a famous podcast person, Zamil. He's very concerned about economy. What he did is he left the country. He shifted to Dubai with his family. He has like depicted that in a very few years the economy is going to be completely collapsed, like Sri Lanka.
Mhm.
That's
Smart.
what all the national income and the policies are. Yeah. This data is also used by the central banks to set and adjust monetary policy. That is basically the monetary policy is all about the money supply. The money supply and the supply of the money. We have money in terms of like paper currency, right? And whatever the supply of the currency is, that is whole monetary policy, and it has a direct relationship with the interest rates and the banking sector. I'll discuss later on as well. Government also look at the figures such as GDP growth and unemployment to set fiscal policy. Now, fiscal policy is actually when there are taxation in the economy and government spending. When the taxation increases, the government spending ultimately decreases. And when the government spending increases, taxation decreases. So there is a vice versa relationship between fiscal policy. The International Monetary Fund, that is the IMF, the World Bank, and the OECD, Economic Cooperation Development, put together national income accounting information and publish. Now, see, we, Pakistan, are developing nation. Now, these authorities, which are sitting in America, Switzerland, they are calculating our national income. Even we are not calculating our national income. We only provide them the data. And would you even like believe that we can provide a correct data to this organization? No, we always
Yeah.
fudge that. So this is actually a whole game. Switzerland is the hub of these all things. They are the one which are deciding the economic powers and economic policies. Like at the current moment, um, nearly in the 5 to 10 years, America is not going to be a superpower. China is going to be a superpower.
Yeah.
So, like, if you relate things together, do you understand what all phenomena is?
Yeah.
So that's the thing. Like, I feel so sad when these international organization NGOs they run us. Like they give strings to it that if you do this, then this, only then we will provide you money. And these stupid people like Shabazz Sharif and what do we call him? Nawaz Sharif and Shehbaz Sharif, these two Sharifs, they always make the economy at the worst stage just by asking them money. And in return, what we supply them. I even wonder that we are also responsible for human trafficking as well. You have a concept of human trafficking, right?
Wow. Yeah.
So you must have an idea that mostly people which are involved in these dark web things, they are Asians. The people which we are supplying, they are mostly Asians.
Yeah.
And it's just like a general information which I'm sharing with you, but this is what actually currently going on the economics in the economy, and this is related to the subject as well. I
Yeah.
was listening to a podcast back in one day, I think, and the person was saying that uh, I was shocked actually. I don't know whether I have to share that or not, but do you know the fetus, the baby which is not born yet, an unborn
Yeah.
baby? They blend it and they supply shakes to the other countries because it's very good for the health. I was shocked.
Wow. That
And
is very.
yes, if I get like any means to share that podcast, I will definitely share it with you. You will be shocked and you will see what actually is happening in the world at the moment.
Yeah.
And
Please do.
I will. These things are never like promoted on the social media on a very high urge because there are authorities like NABs, national bureaucracy centers, they always control it. We have cybersecurity. They never allow us to like
Yeah.
share it openly. But it was very alarming.